Everybody, it's the day after I posted the most recent podcast, the 6 months clear one, and we've got both the boys there with Elsie and Finn, kind of sleeping. Now they're playing. They're like play wrestling, I think this one is Elsie. He's usually the troublemaker, and this one is Finn, and we've got Agita there. We've got Bcee camouflaged right at the back in the leaves, and I just saw Jill. She was on the deck, and I saw Peanut a little bit earlier. I think she's in the shed now. Yeah, she must be in the shed. Well, we had some drama last night. While I was, I'd already edited the podcast, and I was about to upload it. So, and there was a crisis because, not involving one of my own cats, but Jack from next door, who often makes guest appearances, and I think he was in yesterday's podcast as well. He comes over all the time because his he's from the same litter as Bcee and Jill. So he's actually, the son of Peanut, but he got himself adopted next door. Years ago, he was the bolter one. He went next door and he said, I want to be indoor and outdoor. But he insisted on being outdoor as well because he wanted to come over here. And he would go, as my neighbor says, my neighbor calls it slithering. It's a different kind of slithering than mine. But he took risks. He would draw across the road, and it really worried us. But he's been okay for he's 10 or 11 years old, maybe 11, 12. So he's been okay all this time, but I've always worried about him because, and that's the thing I love about my ferals is that as far as I know, they don't leave the backyard. Occasionally, Bcee will come to the front porch and then over to the neighbors right next door, not crossing the road, and then back into our yard under the fence. So that's the most that Bcee would do. And Jill and Peanut just stay in our yard. So that's a huge relief to me. But Jack was known for taking risks. And yesterday he didn't come back in the day. He had got out and he wasn't back in 3-4 hours. So they started worrying. I started worrying. And I had already taped the podcast when we found out that he came back, but he was limping. And they panicked, I panicked, and the vets here were closed in this town. It was past 7, 8, it was more like 9, something like that. So they called, they got an emergency number for a vet in Windsor, an hour away, and they rushed him there. And apparently, they do think he was hit by a car. He was, he has road rash. And fortunately, they did X-rays, but his they didn't show broken bones. It's just a dislocated hip, which they kind of reset. Now he's on painkillers and he's not allowed to go out. They're keeping him confined for now. He's being kept in a case, at least for the next few days, just let out for a little bit of exercise and to use the washroom and stuff like that. Use a litter box. But and he's not happy. He's already. I mean, he removed his cone as soon as they brought him back, and then he escaped from the case that they were supposed to keep him in overnight. I think it's the one that I lent, the boys' travel case. But if you don't zip it up completely, he escaped. So he's just being Jack. Jack is being Jack, which, as I told them in a text, if he was being docile and meek, I would have been a lot more worried. Hello, everybody. So later in the day, I went out to get a couple of things and an errand and stuff like that. And then I got a McDonald's on the way back, a fish burger. And we're sitting in the patio, the birds chirping. The boys are going a little nuts. They're like, the bird's very close. It's there somewhere, And then there's a dog walking by, and there's humans and stuff like that. And so I got the windows open, the screen, of course. But it's quite warm. It's like, 15 degrees or so. So, sweetie, look at your hair. Daddy's going to brush you all. He's going to brush you all. This is Finn. Okay? This is Elsie. And Jack would have been here slithering on the front porch, except that he had his mishap yesterday, so he is now confined to the house, probably for a long time. My neighbors are very upset. Understandably so. It could have been so much worse what happened to him. So, these two only allowed in the catio. You can get some fresh air here, and you can see the birdies. You can't go chase them like Jack does. Jack liked to hunt small animals too, like, chipmunks and squirrels. That's Jack. Jack's kind of a unique cat. So, we got boys there. Agita was in the catio towards the back, as my cat rescue friend in Toronto noted from watching a previous video. Boys are at the front of the catio, engaged and curious and watching the birds and squirrels. Agita sits towards the back, glaring at everybody, at us and at the outside world too. She just glares, But now, she was in the catio, but she's come back here to sit in the study. The ferals were on the deck because it is very, very warm. 15, 16. Hello everybody, it's now the next day and we've got one of the boys there, and I think this is Finn. And the other boy just ran this way, and I think this is Elsie. We'd been out at the catio for a little while, but we've come in. It's very, very pleasant outside. And we've got Agita there. Because the weather is so nice, the ferals and Jules nearby somewhere. But there's Bcee, very comfortable. They love the deck in summer. And Peanut, and everybody's eaten. Except Dad. Ferals have been fed lunch. Inside kids have had lunch. Dad hasn't had lunch yet, Now, the news is, I did go out yesterday with my new friends. It was one of my new friends' birthday, and got a couple of small gifts and stuff like that, and and went to a couple of bars and went for a Thai dinner and stuff like that. And yeah, I was socializing, but I think I dragged too much, and I got peopled out too. I'm really getting a bit peopled out now, and the bar scene, and it kind of worked, rechanneling, and good people, interesting people, but it's just getting, I can't, it's just, oh. All three ferals eating. I'm just watching from the garage door. They know they're there. Everybody, it's now a little bit later in the day. I fed the ferals, I fed the kids, and then I just rested with the kids and napped a bit. We've got one of the boys there, and this is Finn. Other boy was in the bedroom, but has gone running to the living room to join Finn in the living room. And I'm going to work in journals either in the bedroom or here. So we get Elsie there, Finn there, Agita there. That's her new favorite spot. And the ferals hopefully in the shed. They were all in the alcove eating earlier. Now I think it's a little chilly. It's about 3 degrees. It's not really outside deck weather, so I think they're all in the shed, hopefully. Elsie, she's not actually playing. You think that she's playing, but she's being Agita. She's not being friendly. This is not a friendly. For Elsie, this is like playing. Oh, look, my sister's playing with me. Yeah, I don't blame you. I would, yeah. Sweetie pie, your sister's just not friendly. That's all. And while all of this is going on, of course, Finn is under the bed. Doing all the cleaning and everything else, he's under the bed. Guess where I am? Sorry, yeah. Okay, I was down. I got some of my money back now. I was down, then I went up, and now I'm playing a game that I've never played before. I'm not sure how it works. I put quite a bit into it, but I got some bonus games here. After the casino, I spent all my money there, all the cash I brought with me. So I came to a restaurant, and I'm just paying on debit. I paid beforehand just in case to make sure that, I knew the funds were in there, but I just wanted to make sure. So I paid to start. The life of a gambler. Bye for now. I'm here in St. Thomas, and I'm down a bit, and I'm up a bit, and I'm down a bit. I just got this, but not on the maximum, but I'm getting a little bit back. The trick is to try to walk out of here with some cash on me. We'll see if it can be done. Everybody, it's a day, 2 days later, and I may have taped little snippets because I just didn't want to talk about it. But on Friday, I met with a couple of people from my new group of friends. Particularly the two people I've been hanging around with in a bar, and one of them said something really, really annoying, and it was coming. I was just getting really annoyed. I was getting to the limit of my being able to deal with humans almost on a daily basis and socializing, and it just that just put me over the edge. So I ended up texting later, going, look, I just can't deal with you guys anymore. And I just blocked them, and it was coming, it was inevitable. And then I just go, I prefer the company of cats. So I'm back to my kids, inside kids, ferals, and occasional email contact with friends, out of town. And see them once or twice a year, the ones in Toronto at least, 3 times a year, and for lunch or dinner, and then my neighbors, text contact with them, and occasional dinner with them, and they look after my ferals, so waving to them on the driveway, brief chats on the driveway, and that's about all the humans I can take, So, but it was a sudden change. It was a sudden, and I'd been socializing, and it would have been a good, I won't say it wasn't, it was a good distraction, and hopefully it was, rechanneling, and hopefully it was mutually beneficial, but I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And so Saturday, not surprisingly, the pulls were through the roof for party slither. That's what I deal. That's the way I deal with stress, and I just want to go into that other, give into the possession of it. But but every time I go there now, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's getting closer and closer to not being able to come back. So, and I have to sort of escape each time because I just go too far. So the pull was still very strong, but instead I went to the casino, and I haven't been in quite some time. So I went to the Sarnia casino, but didn't like it. Didn't like the machines there. They've changed them. Of course, couldn't leave with any money. Gambled everything I could access. Fortunately, I hadn't taken much. So, and then I came back, and I fed the kids, fed the ferals, stayed in the kids. Pulls very strong, very, very strong. No options here for party slither, but, considered going to a nearby city. But, about an hour away, but then, all the risks, and then having to get back here, and then, just get completely out of control. So yesterday, Saturday, I ended up going to a casino near London. And lost everything I could access. And this time I took more money and a card that had a higher withdrawal limit, and lost every dollar. But that's the stage I'm at with casinos. But it was still better than the other thing, So came back, fed the kids, fed the ferals. Very strong pulls again, but I made it, And today, fed the kids, fed the ferals. I'm just going to go day by day. So I've got a list of things to do today, and I'm just going to do them. Try to stay. I'm going to stay out of casinos because I can't leave at this point. I can't leave the casino with any money at all, no matter what. And I'm kind of, I'm sick of the casinos that I can access here. So fed the kids, fed the ferals, and we've got Agita there. We got one of the boys there, Elsie, wanting to go to the catio, but it's a little coolish today, maybe a little later. And we got the other kid there, and that's Finn, of course. Very comfortably settled. And we've got all three ferals there, So we get Peanut and Bcee have seen me. So we got Peanut, and I fed them there on the deck because, then I can kind of watch them from here. I've got Jill, and I fed them some of the food that, the can that I'd opened, the Veruva cat food for inside kids. And I gave them some of that, and I gave them some Friskies, and they preferred the Veruva, but they were eating the Friskies too. So, and that one's watching me. That one hasn't eaten yet, but there's food at the side too, Bcee. You're not going to go hungry, and there's also dry food. So anyway, you get Jill, we get Peanut, who likes their food. Jill likes their food. Bcee obviously likes food too, because Bcee is chunky. You're a big chunk, aren't you? So these are my biggest pushes. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. These kids, the inside ones and the outside ones, the biggest pushes imaginable. Okay, so I got a list of things to do. Okay, I'm gonna write out the dream, but first, okay, feed kids. Already fed the inside kids. Feed ferals. Already fed the ferals. Shower and get changed, which I haven't done yet. Catch up on journal entries. I made one yesterday morning, but not after coming back from the casino. The pulls were too strong. And then maybe do some pasting. And maybe, lunch for myself, whether to eat out or eat at home. There isn't much at home, but okay. This one was jackpot here in Chatham on my way to Windsor to play there. So we got 2 doubles and a 7. Bye. Another casino. This is closer to Windsor, and I think I just won another $1,000. 1,062, which means that we have to do a hand pay. Okay, news is not good. I mean, it's good in that I'm still here, but it was coming, and I had a very big binge. I'm in another city, not Toronto, and it was all night, and they're getting worse and worse. At least it was 6 months. Now I have to, I'm sobering up. I'm sobering for a few hours, sitting in the coffee shop, and now I'm having a dessert in the Italian cafe, and then I'm going to head back to the kids who've been alone since yesterday. I try not to do that, but when I'm possessed, I'm possessed. Fuck. Made 6 months and 2 weeks, 6.5 months. Bye for now. I'll tape again when I get home. Wish me luck. Return to ordinary world. Bye for now. Okay, the news continues to be good in the sense that I'm still here, but it's not good in that I've still been, shadowing. Let's just use the term shadowing, I've been shadowing. So we've got one of the boys there, and I think that's Finn. Other boy there, and I think that's Elsie, but of course it can be the other way around. And Agita there. And the ferals were all out on the deck a little while ago because it's really warm. Now, I did last tape maybe 4 to 5 days ago. While I was on the binge, I was just about to return. So, the framework I've been using, my own framework that I borrowed from Campbell and stuff, the so-called hero or anti-hero, in my case, I think, travels to underworld to explore aspects of themselves, shadowy aspects. And there's always a danger of not returning. And I came pretty close on this last, and each excursion or trip or exploration of dark parts of myself, or not dark, but the stuff that I don't show the world, and it's kind of the needs and desires, and there's the problem here is I can't talk about this stuff because I can write about it, but I can't really talk about it because others are involved. Others are involved, and there are aspects that I don't want to reveal publicly at this point. I mean, if I write about it and publish it, then it's different, and then you can present it as fictionalized and everything's changed, but the essence is going to be there. I can't really do that with these because particularly other people are involved. Like I can't, I can't risk incriminating others or myself, So, because I've talked about this before, it's happened so many times, but I just, I won't give details. I will say that the binges, they have been getting worse in some ways, and worse, whatever, but the return is getting harder and harder. And this time, the return didn't really happen because when I came back from that other city where I taped last, I looked here and I had been avoiding it. That was one of the reasons I moved here. Is that what I need, the party and the slither, is so much harder to find here. And, it's a small town and all of that stuff. But if you look in the right places, you can find it. And that's all I'll say. Because when I came back, I looked elsewhere. Because there was just such a harsh return. And I was, it was just so many barriers and doors had been opened. And it was like, so I looked and I found 50% of it. I found the party part. But the party part, without the slithering, doesn't really work for me. So so that became a kind of a dilemma. So, but you know what? Being an addict, even the 50% of what I need, if I found it, I'll go for it. And then I try to find the slithering, and kind of found it, but it doesn't work here. I mean, the slithering I need is not really for a small town. It's not. I can't say more than that. Anyone who's watching this who knows the situation, they will know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to make it more explicit, just for the sake of anonymity of myself and others. If others weren't involved, yeah, I would talk about it. But since others are involved, there's I have an obligation at this point to try to protect identity, especially in a small town. So yeah, I've been partying with a couple of times. I mean, not a lot, but a couple of times. It's quite a bit, considering that normally I do a binge and then I'm good for 2-3 months. And last time I was good for 6.5 months. I struggled, but I rechanneled. I had some gambling. I had the kids, as always, my biggest pushes. And then I had the social group that I became a part of here in town. But I'm including footage. I was going to actually skip including footage from earlier since the last podcast, but I think one needs to see the progression, and it was sort of coming. The break with that group, I just kind of got peopled out, and somebody triggered something, and that led to the end of that. And that weekend, Easter weekend, I pulls to party slither was very, very, very strong, and I managed not to. Managed not to go to another city or look harder here. But after the weekend, just after Easter weekend, I went to another city, and that's where there were various episodes. And again, I'm not going to discuss them. It's just, I don't like what happens to me. It's like a possession. I'll say that, and, I don't like, you remember earlier podcasts I talked about unspeakable horrors and unimaginable delights at the same time? And in my case, the unimaginable delights are unspeakable horrors at the same time, because it's very shadowy. It's very, very, shadowy stuff. And it's aspects of myself that that you can find all kinds of fulfillments of shadowy stuff. So I don't want to talk about more than that. I just can't. It's just the substance opened the door, and then the other self comes out, and then I party, play Slither with people who are sort of like-minded, but I kind of go further. I go further than I would like, and So yeah, no, it's not good. I become someone else, and then I have to get myself out of it, which I managed to. Just but then I look for more, and then you want to go further. You've got that far, then you want to go to the next step, and then you go. And I'm being oblique, but that's the only way I can describe this: unspeakable horrors, unimaginable delights, and managed to come back. I taped in a coffee shop in that other city, and I'm not even naming it. That's how there's 2 or 3 possibilities, but I'm not naming the city where I went to party Slither. But I got back from there, and I had gone so deep that I looked here, and it was one of those things that I looked and I found, or that what I was looking for sort of came to me when I came back. So. Part of what I was looking for, not the entire thing, just the party part. So the party part with the Slither, that's like, so I managed to find some Slither, but what I look for, what I need is, it's just what I turn into is just not. There's not a scene for that here in the small town. What I'm into when I'm partying, so. I feel bad that anyway, I don't want to say more. That's it. It's just I could just. So it was really rough. Really, it was incredible, at the same time rough. So and when I have party available, I can't say no to it. So I don't know. It was very, very. So I got myself out of it by going to casinos, and then yesterday kind of partied again and slithered, but it didn't last long because what I was into wasn't what the person I was slithering with was really. I mean, I would never, that I have limits and I don't force anyone. That's the whole thing. I can't say more. It's just that what I'm looking for doesn't really work here. So I ended up just partying, and that was not good. Just not good, And I partied by myself at home, which is also not good. That's not a good sign, So that's as much as I will say about it, Now, it's going to be very hard, and I couldn't sleep at night, It was the substances and emotion and all that stuff, and I worry about what will happen to the kids if something happens to me, and I just worry. And after what happened to Jack, and he just barely, he came back, and now I'm like, what happens if something happens to me, and I can't stop. And I don't know what to do, honestly. The only thing I can do is one day at a time. Just one day at a time. Just remember, one paw in front of the other. Uppy photo. One paw in front of the other. So I got to do it, and I got to do it for these people. That's what I have to do this for, and I don't know what to do. So fuck me. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Let's try to get back to some semblance of my returns. So when I've gone to the underworld and I've survived, and the survival is getting narrower and narrower, narrower and narrower. It's like by a cat hair I come back, and I used to say that. Years before in the previous returns, but. The cat hair is getting thinner and thinner. So, I mean, I got to try to pull myself back. And one thing that I do the tarot card pick. So let's do that. Let's do the tarot card pick. And, other things. I mean, I've been, no matter how bad things are, I feed the kids, I feed the ferals. And, I try to feed myself, So I had a chicken burger, I had a Wendy's chicken burger, and I fed the kids obviously first, and I fed the ferals. And I had a chicken burger, and then I've just been resting. This return is very, very rough, So I just rested all day, and then I was like I got to do a podcast. So I'm doing this now, and let's pick a tarot, a semblance of my normal returns. Why don't we do that? Okay, I've got the tarot deck here, and I'm doing all this here in the study because the living room is still a mess, So I'll have to clean it up before I go into it. So, I go shuffling, another professor shuffle of the tarot deck, and that one kind of. I mean, as I said, I don't do it. The person who taught me years ago said that you have to feel for the heat, and I don't do that. But there is a certain one usually speaks to me, and that one seems to be speaking to me. So let's see what it says. I'll put it around. It was 10 of Swords, but it was upside down. It was reversed. So 10 of Swords reversed. Death or ending of situation or relationship. Now, this kind of came up yesterday too. Like when the devil or death or whatever, you have to take it kind of symbolically. Now, in my case, it could be literal because we are dealing with possible, it's pretty dangerous, risky stuff that I'm getting into, and it's very hard for me to stop. So yeah, it's but it could be literal, but it's also metaphorical, and it's the death or ending of situations or relationships. So. The situation, we know what relationship has to end or what situation has to end, but and it's reversed. So I gotta look this up. 1 second. Holy shit! Could not be more accurate or appropriate, symbolic in terms of what I'm going through. 10 of Swords reversed signifies recovery, renewal, and the opportunity to rise from past hardships, highlighting resilience and new beginnings. Core meaning: when the 10 of Swords appears reversed, it represents healing, regeneration, moving on from a period of suffering. Fuck me. Unlike I can't even read. I'm like, my eyes are tearing up. Unlike its upright position, which signals painful endings and betrayal, the reversed card emphasizes the worst is over. I really hope so. But each time I think that, things do tend to get worse, Well, after a period. I mean, I made 6.5 months. Okay, so this card... unlike its upright position, which signifies painful endings and betrayals, the reverse card emphasizes the worst is over and encourages embracing recovery and personal growth. This card suggests that you are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, learning to process past pain, letting go of lingering emotional burdens. It encourages resilience, reminding you that challenges are opportunities for growth rather than permanent setbacks. It may also indicate that old wounds or unresolved issues are resurfacing, which they definitely are, prompting you to confront them fully to achieve closure. Now, I usually do pick appropriate cards. This one is very appropriate. I just hope that I can follow through. I just hope that I can actually get out of the old unresolved issues and not keep and confront them and not keep giving in to them, and that resilience, reminding you the challenges are opportunities for growth rather than permanent setbacks. So the reversed one is just absolutely. I mean, it's very positive, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have it in me to follow through on it, to actually do it this way, the way that the card is. But I'm going to put everything I have into it. That's all I can do. It's day by day, hour by hour, and I will do it for the kids. I mean, I have to be here. I can't. I can't. I can't let something happen to me because I've got children to look after. I've got 6 of them, plus Jack too, and and I've got my podcast, my very few viewers, my 20 viewers, but I got my podcast, and I got my and I do want to eventually publish my writing because in the writing, yes, I don't hold back. I mean, and I have been writing. I mean, in the last few hours, I've been writing and writing and writing because that's my only way. When I had the analyst, I mean, that went bad, but when I had the analyst, he used to go, only way out for you is to write. And he also used to go, well, you could die. The stuff I was doing, and I've been doing that stuff for like years, and every bunch he'd like go, oh, you're still alive? And that was just kind of annoying. So, but, I've been thinking of all of that. Look, I can't talk anymore. It's very emotional, but I will deal with this, and it's going to be day by day, and it's so much harder that I can find stuff in town. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something and I really the stories. I want to publish these stories because when I'm there, I'm not in a good place, but. I think somebody needs to write about that world and the strugglers and the people who don't have a house to come back to and and resources and who have to struggle every day. I mean nobody has really written about that world non-judgmentally. It's always, oh, this junkies are bad, and one has to see the light and 12 steps and then apologize and follow the steps and all that stuff. No, I'm not going to tell anyone to turn back. It's very complicated, but I do try to write about it as non-judgmentally and as objectively as possible, and somebody needs to do it. And it's kind of fallen on me, but now I'm going to have to put everything I have into trying to publish. I keep saying that, but it's just so many hassles and so many hoops to go through, and I've tried a couple of times. So in the meanwhile, I got my my podcast, and the thing about these is I just do them. I'm just very careful. I don't want to I don't want to incriminate myself or others. I don't want to upset people. So, and I focus on the daily things, my pushes, the kids, my neighbors, my friends in the other province, my friends in Toronto and in the other province, and the humans that I was hanging out with here, I kind of miss them, but that was not meant to be. That was, so I got to stop this. I can't keep talking right now. So, what I'll do is I'll try to end the way I always end, from the 7 of us. So wish me luck. My friends are already, I don't give the details, but they kind of know, my 3 or 4 very close friends, they know my struggles, and they know they don't want to hear the details, but they know that this was bad, and they've been wishing me to the best of luck, and they're wishing me to add oil and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to do it day by day, one point in front of the other, and do it for the kids. So from the 7 of us, Agita there, Elsie there, I'm pretty sure that's Elsie, Finn there. You can just see 2 of the ferals. You can see Peanut, and you can just see Bcee there. See the brown thingy? That's the Bcee. And there's Peanut, and Jill is going to be nearby somewhere. It's going to be right up against the wall, or maybe in the bush. So, from the 7 of us, and I'm going to do everything I can. I felt like giving up last night, but I can't. I just cannot give up. I cannot give up. I cannot, So, we're just going to do this. And this tarot card, it's got me. I have a card to live up to, and I'm going to reflect on it. And when things get bad, and they will be, things will be bad, and I might have to go to casinos. I have to do whatever I have to do, but I will do it, and I will do it, and I will just go clear day by day, day by day. Oh, fuck. Anyway, from the 7 of us, bye for now. See you next podcast. So from Agita, from Elsie, from Finn, and from the ferals out there. Bye for now. Wish me luck, please. Send whatever good energy you can this way. So from the 7 of us, bye for now. See you next podcast. State that I forgot my traditional description of myself. So let's do it again. So from the 7 of us, from Agita, Elsie, Finn, Peanut, Bcee, and Jill. So from the 6 kids, Agita, Elsie, Finn, Pharaohs, and myself. The nuttiest, craziest, most fucked up, and this is without a shadow of a doubt, the most fucked up professor to ever walk the face of this earth. From the 7 of us. I want to keep walking it as long as I can, because I got kids to look after and stuff. So, from the 7 of us, bye for now. Oh, the squirrels, bye for now. I become like a cat, Bye for now. See you next podcast. I'm going to add a thought that I had just as I'm beginning to edit this podcast. And when I was socializing with the group, with the locals in the bar scene, there was a guy I met in the bar, part of the group, who used to be an actor. And we're talking about plays, and he's going to Stratford to see production of Waiting for Godot, which I had seen many, many years ago. Not at Stratford, but I'd seen the production. I don't remember most of it, but I remembered the last line, and I think I'm right on this. And I was talking to the guy about it, but the line is coming back to me now. And the line, if I'm remembering correctly, the line is, "I can't go on, I'll go on. I can't go on, I'll go on." And that's how I feel now. Bye for now. One quick thing to add. A couple of days ago, my neighbor texted me that Jack is being let out again because of, his wounds have healed, and he really wanted to go out. And so both of us, and she knew that I'd been slithering as well. So she texted me saying, the wild ones are hard to tame. And that she meant Jack and Jack's human counterpart next door. Anyway, bye for now. Best of luck to Jack and to myself. We got to stay safe. We just got to stay safe. We have to. Bye for now.